Hello guys, NautoAce here, and I want to give my impression on the PlayStation video conference. I guess you can say that. So, if you remember, they did mention prior to Easter 2018 that they won't be doing a live conference rather than focusing on 4 games, showing gameplay trailer, a gameplay showcase about 4 major games, and those are Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, Dead Stranded, and The Last of Us 2. So they did what their objective is. So it is interesting because what it started was actually in a live audience. Sean Layden was in a church. Yes, you heard me right. They started in a church to start the PlayStation like showcase. And why is that? Well, because the first trailer they showed was The Last of Us 2, which apparently in the gameplay trailer they showed Ellie, which is one of the protagonists for The Last of Us, was I think in a church in a party, and then it got shifted to you get to play as Ellie, and of course if you play Last of Us, it's the same thing. Gory, M-rated. I still have to play the first one. I heard it's good. I played it. So they can show how the game works. So it is like a Last of Us game. So pretty good. Once I finish the first one, I might get it. And then after that, they shift to the main theater. So again, if you think it's a Nintendo Direct, not so much. Think of it as a live Nintendo Direct. There's actually live audience watching. Because after a while, they had this break. Because I guess their concept is they go from the theater to the church to a self-built theater. Yes, according to Sony, they built it. They paid the construction worker to build their own like theater. I guess it's cheap to some extent, or maybe not. I don't know. Or maybe because it's just close to the venue rather than going to like places like really far from where the Los Angeles Trade Center is. So it kind of makes sense. They showed Ghost of Tsushima. They showed what the game is about. The way I see it is like Batman Arkham Knight meets Assassin's Creed meets Bushido Blade, I guess. It is a samurai game. Interesting. They showed how the game works. You play as this, I'm gonna assume a Ronin samurai. You're trying to save a monk, and then there's part when you're gonna do like a kill streak. You target certain people, and then you have a limited window, and then kill. Kind of like in Batman. Kind of, Batman doing like a stealth attack, stealth takedown. So again, interesting. Sony's IP for me is always more interesting. So sorry, because I'm gonna bias there. So again, another game that I might consider thinking getting in the long run. And then they showed some trailers. So yes, so it's not just gonna be 4 games. They showed trailer montage revealing some new games there. Alright, so two of them, the major one I can think of my top of my head are Nioh 2, which is the first one was a PlayStation 4 exclusive. So no surprise it's gonna be on the PlayStation conference or video showcase. The sequel. Is it gonna be PlayStation 4 exclusive? I don't know. And then one of the most anticipated game that people always talk about it, finally been revealed, finally even have a release date, and that is Resident Evil 2 Remake. So it started first kind of like balling people, like, oh my gosh, why is it first person perspective a la Resident Evil 7? And then for strange reason, why is everything look big? The PlayStation 1 was there, the pizza was there, and then you're just running around. And then you're running around, and then something fell on you. Well, you're looking at the first person perspective of a mouse. Why? Well, because it's Resident Evil. And then it's shot to a third, just in a cinematic. And then in the end, you see Leon Kennedy as a rookie cop from Resident Evil 2. So, yes, it was showcased on the PlayStation live conference, which is video conference, I don't know what you can call it. So the question is it a multi-plat game or is it on PlayStation 4 exclusive? I mean, the PlayStation console is there, but again, that's just a trailer. I think that's only a trailer. If it's an in-game trailer, then I don't know. Just have to wait and see. As of right now, Capcom's not saying anything about it. So again, for you Resident Evil fan, There it is. Yeah, the game itself, they said is going to be playing like Resident Evil Revelation. You can shoot and you can move while shooting. So again, those are the better game, in my opinion, than Resident Evil 4. That's my opinion there. And then it showed more Kingdom Hearts 3. So it was in a Microsoft conference. It was a Square Enix video showcase. And then it's on the PlayStation. Again, is it the same trailer? Not so much. They revealed another new world for Kingdom Hearts 3, and that is the Pirates of the Caribbean. And Sora and his friends are now dressed, going to that world, they're dressed as pirates. If you don't know, a lot of the gimmick of Kingdom Hearts is that Sora, Goofy, and Donald would go to, every time they go to a different world, it depends on what the world is, they change to what fits in the world. Like in Toy Story, they're toys. If they go to the Pirates of the Caribbean, they're pirates. If they go to Monster Inc., they're a monster. It's a common thing since the PlayStation 2 with Kingdom Hearts. Like Nightmare Before Christmas, they were like monsters. Yeah. When they went to Tron's world, they look like Tron people. They dress like Tron, etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Interesting, so no different here. So Pirates of the Caribbean now is one of the new world. So there's been a lot of more worlds. So maybe in Tokyo Game Show, they're finally going to reveal one last world. I'm going to assume that's Big Hero 6, because it was mentioned before, but it was only a still picture. It was, so maybe finally they're going to show a fruition of Big Hero 6. Just saying that. So of course after that they showed more of Death Stranded. They finally showed sort of a gameplay, but I really can't tell. But the game just still doesn't make sense. So it looks like part stealth, the shooting part, because Norman Freeman, I think that's the guy name, had his suitcase turns to a gun. So again, we'll just have to wait and see what it is. So it's still more question than answer, even with the gameplay trailer. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see that one. And then finally, they showed Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man. So it is Sunset Overdrive meets Spider-Man. So it's, well, believe it or not, there have been a lot of Spider-Man in the Sony platform since the PS2, even the PS1. And the PS1, it was in open world, it was lenient. The PS2 version, which is based on the Tobey Maguire movie, were open world. So there's no difference here. So yeah, open world Spider-Man game, why not? Batman did it, so why not Spider-Man? Okay, so of course they what other trailer they showed? I can't really remember the top of my head. Oh yeah, I think that's really it about the the one that's gonna be memorable for me. But the thing is also, I stick to the post show after the Spider-Man trailer, and they did talk about, like I said, they talk about how they build up the theater, their home, their self-made theater, the PlayStation experience there. And then, of course, they talk more about Spider-Man. They talk more about Ghost of Tsushima. And then Media Molecules Dreams, I think what they call it. I know there was more to it, Dreams. Which, if you notice in the PlayStation experience or PlayStation conference, each time they do a transition, they show those weird, characters. I guess you think those characters. That's from a game called Dream that Media Molecule were doing. Oh yeah, and then of course they showcase VR game. Not really that interesting. And there's a new game from the people of Rick and Morty. So if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, then you're probably gonna like that. Yeah, kind of makes sense there. And yeah, and then of course, surprisingly, the prediction was right. They showed one new IP from Sony. Granted, it's a PlayStation VR game. I don't know if you have an option not to play it on VR. It's from the developer of From Software, aka the Dark Soul, Dead Soul, Seriko, the newest one from Activision, or Bloodborne, Sony's version of that Dark Soul, which I'm having a hard time playing those games. But I heard Bloodborne is easier than Dark Soul. So anyway, yeah, so they showed you IP. So with that, what do I give the PlayStation conference? Okay, so like I said, the overall here, their own presentation. So granted, it's not really a live conference. However, it's not also a direct Nintendo Direct. Like, it's just a pre-recorded video. It's not. It's just that Sean Layden came out, introduced what they're gonna do, and then after The Last of Us 2, they had an intermission talking to Schumann. Not, it's like the guy who runs the blog, Ryan Clements, former IGN. They were talking to Sean Layden, and then so there's some like live action a bit there, and then a lot of course, there are a lot of like announcement, and then they went back to just trailer. So it's a live Nintendo Direct. Let's just say that. So I gotta give them props about it, and I'm gonna give an 8 out of 10. One more points than Microsoft. Why is that? Well, one is they did show new IP. Okay, the 4 main games were new. Well, 3 new IP. Well, Spider-Man. Okay, sure, it's a new IP. It's not a sequel. It's a new IP. 4 of them, 3 of them are original. 1 of them is based on a Marvel character. Fine. 2, it's not so much of you just watching it like the Square Enix showcase. It's actually there are people that are watching it on like a theater. So that makes sense. There's some performance. There was a guy who played the banjo for The Last of Us 2 showcase, and then there was a guy who played a Japanese flute. I don't know what it is called. Again, to promote, to get hyped to the Ghost of Tsushima. Again, it is something live there. So I like that. Still, it's not so much of the old days of, hey, you go in front of the stage, you explain your game, blah, 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 blah. Because the days of doing that is done. So I have to admit that. But over presentation again is 8 because they did something kind of like a merge of Nintendo Direct and live conference, somewhere in the middle ground. But still, nothing really too big exciting. Kingdom Hearts, okay, we knew that game out. They're just showing new stuff. Maybe Resident Evil 2. Again, I'm not really a fan of Resident Evil, so really not really like, oh yeah, like I really, really gotta play Resident Evil 2. I know I'm probably eventually gonna buy it in the long run. So again, nothing really big surprising. And they ended with Spider-Man, which everybody knew. Hopefully it was something like a surprise. Well, they kind of did, but it was in the post show. And they did mention about more games for the PlayStation. Unfortunately, they did this segment called Road to E3, 4 videos of it. Like I said, including Persona Dance 3 and Persona Dance 5. Again, I wanted to be on the actual on the live conference or video conference, whatever. Like, if you have need additional days to get hype for PlayStation, then that's like what Nintendo did in 2012. Like, they had a showcase the Wii U on the Nokia Theater, and then later on a 3DS showcase. Again, yeah, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's like you gotta be tricky about like put everything or whatever your best games on the conference for at least 2 hours or 90 minutes. It was sort of 90 minutes because it's 1 hour of just trailer, which again, it's much better than last year. But then, of course, there was some live, not interaction, but live stuff they're doing. So, again, that's what's 8 out of 10. UIP. And just more info the game that needed, but still more. Well, some of them you can understand, except for Death Stranded. So, yeah, so 8 out of 10 for me. So, that's my thoughts on the Sony conference. And the last one is going to be Nintendo. And, of course, the main feature is Smash Brother for the Switch. And with that, thanks for listening.